Chakra healing is like dating, and I bet if you approach healing your chakras like it were some dating game, you're bound to make tremendous progress. Now, typically in dating, you go through 4 phases. Phase 1 is always the physical attraction. Chances are you choose to go on a date because you're physically attracted to that person. Next comes the mental compatibility phase, where you talk with another person to determine if your thinking and values are aligned or not. Then comes the emotional compatibility phase. This is primarily gauging how this person makes you feel. And in the last phase, you make a clear decision if this person stays in the friend zone, the stranger zone, or if this person is going to be someone special. Now, what you just did there was you engaged with the person at a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. Now, when it comes to healing chakras, we all start our healing journey by learning the basics. As in, what is the purpose of a chakra, what it feels like when it's balanced, not balanced, what gemstones, essential oils to use, which foods to eat, which mantras, mudras, and even yoga poses are going to help you balance your chakras. Now, when you're working with these basics, this is how you start getting present to the chakras and their energies inside of you. This is like beginning to develop awareness of chakras. And using our analogy, we can say this is getting to know your chakras at a physical body level. Next comes getting to know your chakra at a mental body level, as in learning how does a chakra thinks. And this is when you start working with the mind matrices. So there are 7 main chakras in the human body, and hence 7 mind matrices. What this means is that if you want to know how the first chakra operates at a mental level, then you want to work with the subconscious mind. If you want to know how the second chakra works at a mental level, you're going to have to work with the instinctual mind. For third chakra, it's the conscious mind, and after that, it's the astral mind, the archetypal mind, the celestial mind, and finally, for the 7th chakra, it's the etheric mind. Now, once you understand how these mental matrices work, the next phase is getting to know your chakras at an emotional body level. Meaning, what are the different emotional themes connected with different chakras? And this level of healing organically unfolds as you deep dive into the mind matrices. And finally, in the last phase, you are able to discern in real time which chakra needs rebalancing, how to synthesize polarities, and how to hone in on the frequency of neutrality. This is also when you start accessing out-of-the-box ideas, you start experiencing spontaneous joy, you engage in far less drama, and you can access inner peace no matter what is going on around you. And even when you lose balance, you can easily recenter yourself. You know, when I began my chakra healing journey, the first few months were great. I felt I was on top of the world because I was noticing all these inner changes and they felt great. And so I started spending even more time in meditation. But after a year or so, I hit a dead end because I was putting in a lot of effort, a lot of energy, but barely noticing any changes. And using the dating analogy, you can say I got stuck in phase 1, and boy, did I stay stuck there for very many years. But in my defense, I didn't know any better because everywhere I looked online for information on how to heal chakras, every single place told me the same thing. Just work with these basics. But I was already working with them and yet going in circles. So my breakthrough moment came when I had this realization, this dawning, that what if I saw each chakra as if it were a person, having its unique likes, dislikes, preferences, quirks like a person? What if each chakra had a mind of its own? And when I changed the lens through which I saw chakras, this is when the breakthroughs started unfolding for me. And so phase 2 was 1000% the linchpin in my journey. It took me very many years to break down this process, to map this process, and determine the individual components. As you can imagine, I made every single mistake along the way, and I learned from them. Now, there are probably hundreds of suggestions, do's and don'ts that I could give you on how to tread this path, but I'll save those for another video. For now, I just want to share one thing that can seriously accelerate your progress. You may not like what I have to say, but it's the truth. And so, if you want to make this journey in the shortest time, then you have to learn how to work with your emotions. Now, the most obvious reason for this recommendation is that chakras are invisible to your naked eyes. Similarly, you can't touch or hold your mind matrices because they're part of the energy body. And so the only way you can access them and their intelligence is through your feelings. Now, the number one reason most people resist their emotions is because there's usually pain involved. And I'll be honest with you guys, like most people, I wanted nothing to do with emotions. Like, I'm a science major, so doing analysis, being analytical, that's my most natural way of being. So I wanted nothing to do with emotions. They were not even a blip on the radar. And I resisted doing the emotional work for as long as I could. But when every single healing modality I explored, when all of them led me to the same destination, that's when I surrendered. And I wish that someone had sat me down and told me that, hey, your emotions are the catalyst you need for your inner work, because that would have saved me a lot of pain and misery. Now, emotions are not formed, they don't exist in isolation. Because whenever there's emotion involved, there is usually a person attached to it, and there's a relationship. So it's kind of like, think of your emotions and relationships like mac and cheese. Of course, both can exist individually, but they make more sense when they are together. So when we talk about healing emotions, it means healing the pain in your relationships. And this could be relationship with your mother, your father, your siblings, your spouse, your partner, your kids, other familial relationships, sexual relationships, platonic relationships, and every single thing in between. Now, the home of all your emotions is chakra 2, or the sacral chakra. And healing this chakra means addressing the pain in your relationships. So relationships, emotions, and pain, they're all intertwined. And your job is to address any trauma, any abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, in these relationships. Maybe it happened during your early childhood days or your adult life. You have got to address it. And this is the stuff that majority of us don't want to look at, we don't want to acknowledge, and hence it's also aptly named the shadow work. Because when you start addressing the pain in these relationships, you're going to start get present to why you have a hard time setting boundaries, why you can't just say no, why you're always people-pleasing, and most importantly, what's at the heart of your low self-esteem. And if you sincerely want to heal your chakras, you can't repress your pain, neither can you run away from it, not for too long. And mind you, 95% of the work involved in healing all your chakras is going to be right here in the second layer with your instinctual mind. This is why they also say that ascension is 99% emotional clearing. Now, I shared a lot of information in this video, and I've added all the key pointers I shared today in a mind map format. And if you would like to study further, make notes on it, you're welcome to download. The link is in the description below. I hope these suggestions are supportive in your healing journey. As always, please only take what resonates, discard all the rest. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in the next video.